Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogans: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually just dropped the thought piece this past Monday, so definitely be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you're looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available wherever podcasts are playing, and we provided you with access to a few links down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And our topic of discussion today is on mental health. And the conversation on mental health today, I want to talk about fatal flaws. Yes, I want to talk about the conception of having a fatal flaw and what you do if someone tries to bring that to your attention. And now, so there's a caveat here. So I'm someone who recognizes the subjectivity in this word, this label fatal, and I've also learned in my life experience that a lot of the times what someone can consider to be intolerable is just an indication of incompatibility. So it's really for us to decide what flaws of ours are fatal or not, and if whether or not someone bringing that flaw to our attention is to give us an opportunity to grow, or is it an opportunity for them to maintain a certain level of control in that scenario. And so as someone who has been born out of the womb quite resistant to comparison, I'm very comfortable and very proud of my own skin, and that's however it is that I typically will present. And so it's taken a lot of conversations over the years from people that I respect, from people that I look up to even try to focus on the areas that definitely needed attention. But what I've recognized is the areas of growth that needed attention, even in my younger years, they were things that I personally was ready to address with maturity. So there's a lot of fatal flaws that I just simply grew out of just based on the passage of time. But if I were to try to shift and approach those flaws in order to accommodate others, I think that would, in a way, depending on what the flaw was me not being true to myself. And so I think that growth and development is something that is very self-informed. I think a lot of our experiences and our environment informs the areas that we recognize ourselves we need to grow in, and our environments and our experiences and the people around us are sort of the catalyst to the different changes that we would want to, I think, drive from within. And so I'm personally very much a believer that real change isn't something that is external inward, isn't something that it starts from the external and then goes inward. It's something that starts from inside and then is projected outward. So I don't think that anyone is going to change because I've asked them to change. And so because of that, I am not the kind of person who feels the need to point out at someone's fatal flaw with the expectation that they're going to bend and accommodate my desires. I would much rather that people show up authentically, and how they show up authentically I can determine compatibility. I think that gives everyone an opportunity to just be themselves, and in being themselves, they can find themselves in communities and with people who are compatible with them for where they are at that point in time in their development. And so that's the expectation that I brought into every room that I'm in. And a lot of people, it bristles them because they're so ready to accommodate the expectations of others. When you're not ready to accommodate the expectation of others, it can be really off-putting. And because I'm typically not ready to accommodate the expectations of others, and it's not because I don't want to be liked, I do want to be liked, but because my agreeability scale is fairly low, I want to be liked for who I am. I don't want to have to bend and twist myself into a pretzel for people to like me. I would much rather take my time and find the world around me, the places and situations and sort of the things that I interact with, inform, well, what's compatible with me, who's compatible with me, and who isn't. And I'm comfortable with the truth in that I am not everyone's cup of tea, and I'm comfortable with the truth that not everyone's going to be my cup of tea. And that doesn't mean that we go to war and that we're at arms. I am very comfortable being in space with people that I know fundamentally we're incompatible. Like, there's no real depth to the relationship that's going to take place there. All the same, I have that same attitude when it comes to the people that I feel like I naturally gravitate towards them. And so the natural gravitation comes with recognizing that where we are, both of us in our points of development, we're compatible with one another without us trying to change and shift each other into something that's more tolerable. And so that's what I want to talk about. So when we think about fatal flaws and how people try to describe aspects of your personality as a fatal flaw, as something that's intolerant or intolerable, recognize it's just intolerable to them, and you need to think critically, well, is this something, if I take this feedback and I really dwell on it, like, do I see it as an issue for myself? And so a lot of the times when I receive certain feedback on certain behaviors that I have, it's not going to be an immediate, okay, I'm going to change that aspect of myself because this one person brought it to my attention. I don't think I've put anyone on enough of a pedestal where there's going to be an immediate response, but I am going to introspect. I'm going to give that information and opportunity to fester. I'm going to decide for myself if that flaw is fatal or not. And I think that we all need to give ourselves a break, right? Because a lot of us, we are around people that we're simply incompatible with, or we're beating ourselves up because they're bringing up all those points of incompatibility, and we're trying to make ourselves fit. And in trying to make ourselves fit, we're trying to make ourselves small, when growth and development and life and evolution is about expansion, is about being your greatest, best version of yourself and living loudly and proudly and allowing the world around you to respond and react and to shift and change accordingly. All of us have the power to be disruptive, but we need to be comfortable in our skin and cognizant of our individuality and be ready to defend our individuality if it comes under attack. And so I am someone who's very comfortable and very ready to defend my individuality if it comes under attack, not from a place of ego. If I do see that there is validity in the feedback that I'm receiving, I'm definitely going to take it in stride and build it as part of my own development plan. But a lot of what we hear on a day-to-day basis is criticisms that is just a byproduct of people not being able to contain us, to control us, and to subdue us. And so I think that if that is the spirit of the information and the feedback that you're receiving, then I would reject it, and I would take it as information that is rather signaling incompatibility between you and those people around you. And I think so much of our mental health is really infringed upon when it is the case that we're trying to meet the expectations and the needs of people who simply want us to be smaller for them to be comfortable. And so I've met a lot of people who are just uncomfortable with how much space I took up. And because I was also unapologetic about how uncomfortable they were, it created this need to teach me a lesson or to put me in my place. And that didn't work because I'm happily unapologetically myself. And I think that has helped me leaps and strides by way of my mental health. As I've mentioned in a few videos, I stick out like a sore thumb. And I remember I had this one colleague who had mentioned that the nail that sticks out is the one that gets the hammer. And it's true, if you don't conform, if you don't bend to the norm, then yeah, you're gonna get some resistance as a byproduct of that. But it's a resistance that I welcome as a celebration of your individuality in spaces that are transient, in spaces that are subject to change quickly. So that was the quick talk that I wanted to have with you today. Some food for thought for you on being unapologetically yourself, being very intentional in the way that you think about the feedback that criticizes the ways that you show up, and ask yourself, is this coming from a place of love, of wanting me to evolve, to grow, and to be the best version of myself? Or is this coming from a place of seeking to control, to subdue, and to put me in a place where they themselves feel more comfortable with the space that I'm taking up? So that's some food food for thought that I wanted to share with you. I hope that it is helpful to you as you think about the information that you've allowed to play into your sense of self and what you can do to reclaim your individuality in a way where you're unapologetic, and then rather than shift and change yourself, you shift and change the settings that maybe aren't the best for you, not best aligned to where you are in your growth journey. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Some food for thought for you. No updates as of yet as it relates to my stalking situation. I have gone live over 2 months ago now regarding me being stalked by Scott Rutherford, who is a professor at Rotman School of Management. And so I've gone live. I know that there's a lot going on behind the scenes, but there's nothing tangible that I can update you with at this point in time. But definitely stay tuned, and I look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.